Now it's time to talk about harvesting the pitch. So pretty much all you need to harvest this resin is something to pry it off of the tree with and a container. This will collect all the falling and shattered pieces that come off. You're going to go outside to a tree that you've confirmed is a spruce or a pine if that's all you can find. They're literally everywhere, even in urban areas, especially around businesses or parks. I look for an older tree. Spruce trees with a trunk less than 6 inches wide are usually too young, because even if they are injured, they're not going to have enough time to collect a lot of resin, and that resin isn't going to have a lot of time for it to cure into pitch. If you look all around an older spruce tree, there's a good chance you're going to find some resin, usually in globs. If it looks wet, fresh, and sticky, then leave it be. If it looks old, hard, weathered, or dirty, then this is probably pitch. Push a knife or a stick into it, or try squishing it. If it's hard as a rock, collect it. You can chip it away or pry it off the tree. You could use a screwdriver, a knife, or an axe, and sometimes it's loose enough for you to pull it off with your hand. Be careful when using a sharp object that your hand's not too close and you don't cut yourself. If you get a resin chunk off and it's mostly hard but has a tiny bit of sticky resin on it, that's okay. As long as the majority of the resin you're collecting is hardened into pitch, it's okay to add a little bit of sticky stuff in there. Just remember that the sticky stuff is going to stick to your hands, your tools, and your container. It's fine if it's dirty or there's some bark on it. Just try to remove as much bark as you can before collecting it so you save space. I like using freezer bags to collect it. You could also keep a pocket knife with you. These things can store in your pocket really easily and don't take up much space. But you can also use a big bowl or a container. A basket isn't ideal because some of the pieces will break apart and fall through the basket. And sometimes it's hard to tell the consistency of resin in the winter. You'll want to bring it inside at room temperature and make sure it's thawed to be sure if it's hard pitch or if it's just frozen resin. Pitch will remain hard at room temperature. Thanking the tree in some way is a really good practice, and it creates a relationship with this tree. Sometimes people pre-clean the resin and get some of the dirt off, but you don't need to do that with my method, because we're going to use a fine filter in the next step. So if you get any of this resin on your hands or your tools, here are some tricks you can use to get it off. Water isn't going to work, but you could get the water as hot as possible, and this will soften it a bit and help it to come off. Of course, use rags you're going to be okay to throw out, because you don't want to wash clothes with resin on it with your other items, because it can get resin on your other clothes. There are 2 substances that break down resin. One is oil or fat. Things like butter will work. Another is alcohol. So rubbing alcohol or highly concentrated drinking alcohol. The best thing to do is go get some of these alcohol swabs. Now that you've collected your resin, the next step is to clean or filter it. We're going to do this with heat. You could just eat it straight off the tree if you find really good quality resin, but this is very rare and you don't want to rely on it.